10 o'clock at night and cut it out. And they wondered what I was doing this, and now it's not a problem. The logs are gone. So anyways, that's what's left of the original camp. Go ahead. By the way, you could stop this. That fire hydrant came from Joanne's backyard. Yeah. So this is that woodshed, and there's a sign up there that I painted. Somebody was stealing our wood. We knew exactly who it was. You know, somebody came up to say, "You gotta have some. Don't worry about it." But he was stealing it. We caught him doing it, and we said, finally, I painted a sign that said, "Our work weekend is the weekend before Memorial Day. If you're gonna steal our wood, at least help us cut it." And as a P.S., you are on camera. And after that, we never had any wood stolen. Go ahead. Now this is a good, stop this right here. This is a great picture. This guy right here, he was in Iraq. He was in the Army Reserves, gets called up. He was in college. He was going to be a forest ranger. So he goes to Iraq, and he gets ambushed. And he was driving a Humvee, and he said those guys knew exactly where to shoot. He got him right across the ankle. So my first reaction was, get out, get going. So he got out. Anyways, he goes to Walter Reed. He was there 6 months. They wanted to take his ankle, wanted to take his foot off. He said, "No, you're not taking off my foot." So when he finally got out of Walter Reed, he was there, like I said, 6 months. He came to camp, and it was Veterans Day weekend. He said to Jeff, "Can I sit in your tree stand?" He said, "Sure, yeah, go ahead." Because we'd seen deer, we'd seen some nice deer there on camera. Well, he came in, it was just dark, and he was limping because he was, now every once in a while you see him now, he'll limp because when he gets tired. So anyways, he says, "I got him." "You ain't getting any deer." It took Jeff and myself, and that's Jeff's dad, Clayton Skinner, Jeff and I to get that deer up into the back of the side-by-side to get it out of the woods. It was a nice, beautiful 8-point buck. And I said, Veterans Day weekend, that was good. So this guy right here is Tommy Skinner. I've known Tommy since he was born, and we wanted to get him out in the woods, get him used to being in the woods with us, hunting and stuff. So he's right there, he's probably about 8 years old. So we started him. There's a couple of drives that I'm not going to say it's impossible to get lost, but you almost have to work at it. So his dad, Jeff, is on one side of the drive. I'm on the other side, and he's between us, and we've got radios. And when I tell you, if we were at the most 100 yards apart at any given time, and so we got radios, and Tommy gets on his radio. "I'm lost." This is the gist of the conversation. "I'm lost." "You're not lost." "I don't know where I am." "None of us know where we are. Just keep walking." "Dad, I'm really lost." "You're not lost. Find the sun. Walk towards the sun." "Dad, I'm lost." "Quit your blatting and start walking." And there's a lot of compassion there, you know. So anyway, so go ahead and go to the next picture. That was a great Veterans Day. I thought that was a great way to end it for him. Relaxing in front of camp. I think that was last week, yeah. Go ahead. It is coffee, by the way. This is inside the camp. You can just scroll right through these. Go play right through them. Inside camp. And that's how it is now. Matter of fact, one of the guys actually cleaned up just stay this for a second, I'll tell you why. That stove came out of the Grange in Herkimer. Paid $50 for it. It's a double oven. What the frig is it?
There's 10 burners on it.
Yeah, on that one, yes. There's 10 burners on that one. Garland, that's a stove. So anyways, we've had it for 50 plus years. Well, I found one similar to it up in Malone for $200. So I bought it and went through it, and then instead of 10 burners, it's got 6 and a big griddle with a broiler and everything on it. So I went through it and re-drilled all the pilots and did it all over, repainted it and stuff, and now that's what's there now. But when we took that one out of there, It's a good thing we took it out when we did, because it literally fell apart when we took it out. That's, yeah, go ahead. And here we go, that, go ahead. And that's the kitchen and water pump. We've replaced that pump many times. Go ahead. Stop this for just a second. So that's Tommy a few years ago. This is Tommy probably 10 years ago maybe. He didn't know how to play pitch. He wanted to learn how to play pitch. So myself and Bob Baker said, we'll teach how to play pitch. So we're sitting around the poker table, and he's got his buddy as a partner, and Bob and I are partnered up. So we're playing pitch, and I would say to Bob, I said, jeepers, I bought a new spade for my garden, really working good. And he would say, I bought my girlfriend, I bought her a new diamond. She really, we're going back and forth like this. So by the time we got done, they owed us like $30. And his father saying, you guys don't realize what they're doing right now with all this. So the next morning, Bob got up. He said, I wished I had some of that yellow crime scene tape, because I would put it right around this table. Go ahead. So this bear, I show you this for a reason. He shot that bear, I think 3 years ago. Tommy did. Weighed almost 350 pounds. He took a tooth out and had it aged. Encon aged it for him. Almost 17 years old. So the oldest bear in New York State shot was on record was a little over 23 years old. The average bear in New York State that's shot is usually 3.5 to 4 years old. So that I wasn't there, thank God, to help drag it, because I would not want to. I've gotten involved with that stuff before and don't want to do it again. Go ahead. You can.
It's coming.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it is. There it is. And that's good. You can scroll right through it. That's the paperwork they sent. They sent them a patch for. Now this deer, I got to tell you. Stop that for a second. Go back to that.
Okay.
Sorry. Oop, oop, oop.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa,
whoa.
whoa.
It's a squirrel in the cage.
Okay. Just play it. It'll come up. Stop it right there.
I got him.
Stop. Okay, that deer, I got to tell you, when we shot that deer, there was about 10 guys on watch, and there were 5 of us on drive, and it was snowing so hard you couldn't see hardly from me to my brother. And that's the only reason we got that deer, because that deer didn't know there were people around. But I want to tell you, it took 2 of my hands to go around the base of that deer's antlers. That's how big that. I mean, it's like an elk. You're like, what the? I don't know how. The guy that shot it, I was just finishing up the drive. He shot it not in front of me, but right near me when I was coming out. The 2 guys were standing by the side of the road, and that deer just walked right up out of the woods. Like you said, you couldn't hardly see from me to you away, and that's why we shot him, because that deer didn't think he'd be around. And when he shot him, all you didn't even hear the gunshot, because it was such heavy snow, But and I know this picture's made the rounds on the internet quite a bit, but go ahead and scroll through it. It was quite a deer. This is one I had on my camera that nobody got. And there's a couple of videos here you'll see too. Go ahead. Look behind. Yeah. Nobody got him either. Yeah. And nobody got that one. No, I should just scroll right through this. I'm sitting on a ground blind, and that cat's about 20 feet away from me. And I really thought I was going to have a problem. And I said, I'm not going to shoot it, because I've got one. I'm not going to eat it, so I'm not going to shoot it. Yeah. I really thought I was going to, kill or be killed kind of deal. Yeah. So let's stop this right here. We call this the Tilton Hilton. I built this a few years ago, and when I tell you it was right out in the middle of a big field, could literally drive a log truck around, I thought. So when they were going to log this whole area 2 years ago, and then you don't have to move that, it'll be fine, you can get around it. good. So we didn't. It was November. The logger that was in charge of, the forester that was in charge of that, girl said to me, you gotta move that tree stand. You gotta move that. It's November, it's frozen to the ground. I can't move it. I'll show you, go ahead, play it. That's how they moved it. Yeah. And it's just, the nice thing about camp, it's not just about hunting, it's fishing, it's really more of a family camp than our camp is. It gets used more sometimes out of hunting season. It's booked every week during the summer. Go ahead, Charlie. It's my friend Jeff. I'll show you this one. Now, stop that for a second. That's my daughter, obviously.
Autographs, $20.
She said, I said to my wife, I want to go to camp. I want to go fishing for a little bit. Okay. Julie said, can I go? I said, sure, come on, let's go. So I'm out there in the pond. And I am casting Lake Clear wobblers. I am putting out spinners. I've got rooster tails. You name it. I'm throwing. She's got this little pink Zebco rod and reel with a worm and a bobber. And the bobber goes under. And I said, well, you better reel it in. 14.5-inch brook trout. Son of a. So don't get used to that. That's never going to happen again. I said, if you want to bring it home, we can eat it. Or if you want to throw it, we threw it. I said, you hooked him perfect. You had him right by the jaw, so we threw him back in. It's a great picture, by the way. Go ahead.
You told me that was stuffed.
Oh, I'll show you this for a reason. So we do rabbit hunting also. Look at how that chain is tangled up. Those poor dogs couldn't move 6 inches. Go ahead. And that's, yeah, kill of the day. We get, believe it or not, we had a lot of rabbits this year over there, even this year. Go ahead and scroll. More rabbits. And we do eat them, by the way. Coming back to camp, go ahead. Dogs. Go ahead. It's our son John, playing poker. Go ahead. Go ahead, Charlie. These next shots you're going to see are camps that are along our side of the lease, around the road, going all the way over to the Woods Lake Road and stuff. Go ahead. This is the Wyoming Club. They had an issue. They actually had an indoor bathroom there, and international paper said, no, you can't have that. You got to get that out of there. So not like everybody else, they have an outhouse.
Can I mention something about an outhouse
Which one?
for the scouts?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was a scoutmaster for quite a period of years, and we used to come up here with the kids up here to camp, usually in the summertime. And I'd have anywhere from 15 to 20 kids and adults.
Yeah.
And we go canoeing and swimming and whatever and hiking and all that. Well, anyway, the first time we came up, we got into camp and, we're unpacking stuff and, kids are running all over the place. So anyway, all of a sudden we noticed where the hell did all the kids go? And it was quiet. So anyway, the outhouse is up behind the camp, up on a little side hill. They're all huddled up there. There's like 15 kids huddled up there. And what the hell is going on, for Christ? So I go up, and here everybody's tee-hee, ha-ha, look at that, isn't that neat? Well, they forgot to clear out the penthouse and Playboys out of the outhouse. So now,
Which I will say,
that brings up a whole new story there.
And I'll tell you this, so in March, they would come up in March, and the deal was for the kids to use the camp in March, they would always move the firewood from one side of the wood pile to the other, so we'd cycle through it. So we wouldn't be burning green wood. So my brother said to me, why don't you go out, see if you can, go out and we'll see if we can find it, So I go out in my snowshoes, and I remember we were up there one time, and I wished I had that picture. It had snowed so much that weekend that we're standing in front of the woodshed, and I've got my elbow right on the roof of the woodshed. And anyway, a little disconcerting. So I'm out there and I'm crisscrossing my tracks and I'm going down through the woods and down behind camp, and I get all done and I go up on the ridge and I'm watching the Boy Scouts and they're looking all over the place, and I go back down to camp and I go back sit in front of the fireplace. And they came back, we couldn't find them. how'd you get back here? I said, I watched you guys the whole time. I said, yeah, it's fine. But, so we go out for a hike later on that day. And I said to the guys, you guys be prepared. You know, this is the woods. So we're hiking through the woods. I said, anybody know what direction we gotta go to get back to camp? I said, I know we gotta go, I said, we gotta go north. Well, we can follow our tracks. I said, well, what if we crisscross, you know, you'll be able to find yourself, with yada, yada. Anyways, which way is north? Kids are pointing up in the air. So I said, you know, guys, you gotta know what you're doing out. You could die out here. So we get going. And jeepers, I was kind of thirsty. I said, "Have you got anything to drink?" Well, we can eat snow. I said, "You can't eat snow." I said, "You know, that's a good way to get hypothermia." I said, "You could die out here, guys, you know." So we go along our way, and every once in a while, I would take a piece of bark and throw it in my pack, you know, my day pack. And I always carried, and this isn't kind of a tie into this. Anyways, I always had a little film capsule bottle full of cotton balls and waterproof matches, and they were soaked in kerosene and stuff, because I figured if I ever got lost, they were going to find me, because I'd build a fire you'd see from Albany. So it's time for us to have lunch. Got hot dogs, we're going to have hot dogs, we're going to cook them by the fire. So I start my fire, and the kids are over there, and they're trying to start the fire, and of course they can't do it. I said, you know, guys, you gotta know what you're doing. You could die out here. One of the kids looks at my brother and goes, he says that an awful lot. Go ahead. So that's a Wyoming club. They're probably a mile or so. This is the Weeks' camp. It's also called rehab camp, because the guys that used to be in there needed rehab. They needed it. But, go ahead. And you can see they put that addition out without anybody's permission. I don't know if that's going to last or not, but go ahead. You'll see here in a second, this is their view of right out the front door looking out. That's Woods Lake Mountain, and that is the south branch of Beaver River right there. Go ahead. Now this is the camp I was telling you about. That was the house that was in New York Mills, and that's why that is where it is, because that is where the truck died. There's 3 guys left in that camp, and I know Lime has approached us about it and said if we ever took it over to if we could get rid of that camp, they would really appreciate it, put it that way. Go ahead. And that's the other side of it. To say it's rough is an understatement. Go ahead. This is crossing the railroad tracks, heading towards that's what you see right in front of you that's Woods Lake Mountain also. Go ahead. And I think it was either Jerry or Danny Levy took an awful ride and skittered down that one time. That's the old station house from the railroad from back in the day, and that's Woods Lake Station right there. And it's pretty well used camp. Upstairs is all separate bedrooms. Every member has their own bedroom. Go ahead. If you look, we think, we're not sure, because you're not supposed to, we think, because we've never seen one, that's their outhouse. But you can see they've got a full basement. That's why that place has stayed up as long as it has, because that's well over 100 years old. It's not in great shape. It's not in bad shape, I'll say. It's not pristine by any means, but I mean, for that roof line to stay as straight as it has over the years. Go ahead. And that's the camp at Woods Lake. That was Bill Marlowe's camp. And now it is, it was Mike and Beth Pashley from Old Forge and a bunch of other guys that are in on it together. And they own that privately. It's not lumber company land. International went through and sold off a lot of their properties that had lakes because they didn't want to deal with the APA and all that stuff. But Bill Marlowe had that. Well, when you were in Boy Scouts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this little anecdote. So Bill Marlowe was taking the Scouts up there in the back of his pickup. Johnny Evans has a baseball bat. The hornet's nest hanging down over there. He took that baseball bat and just blistered that hornet's nest, and the frickin' hornets are all over. Mr. Marlowe, can we go a little faster, please? Mr. Marlowe, please. What did you little bastards do? I know you did something. Please, we got to go faster, Mr. Marlowe. Go ahead. And that's Woods Lake. It's pretty lake, really, it's a pretty lake. Now, stop this for a second. This is on the way up to the outhouse. And I do have photographic evidence, you're not gonna believe it. So we have this cutout of Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you wanna call it. For a while, it was there was a barn right there in Big Moose Station that had 2 wooden feet cut out for like Bigfoot. I can't remember who, anyways, the guy would strap them on and walk through the woods, you know. I've got Sasquatch, go ahead and play this. There he is. So that's the end. If anybody has any questions or any, yes, dear.
I think you should mention how Adirondack Life ran an article on it.
Yeah, Adirondack Life, thanks to our oldest daughter, was doing they wanted to do an article on hunting camps. So my oldest daughter, Christine, said, you know, you should really talk to them. So I did. They came, they did a photo shoot of our camp. They came in and did an article about it. I don't know, it was like a 5 or 6 page spread. And then all the kids chipped in and bought those photos and had a book made for them. We have all those pictures. Real nice. Any other? Yes,
You said your grandfather was Dewey Rudd.
yes.
What was your grandmother's name and her maiden name? I'm curious.
Mildred Rudd, and her maiden name was Hall, Mildred Hall.
Any
Yeah.
relation to the Halls in Old Forge?
No, and it's funny because, not funny, it's just funny how things work out. So my grandfather had the Red and White grocery store in Inlet. His brother Milt had the grocery store, Red and White grocery store in Fabius. My grandfather married Mildred Rudd, and he married,
Memorable woman.
Yeah, she knew her well. He married Mildred Hall, and my great uncle, he married her sister.
And wasn't part of your family from Deerfield, New York?
That was my grandfather,
I thought
Grandpa
so.
Dewey. Yeah, and he moved up here in the 20s because he had tuberculosis. That's how he got up here.
Breathing.
And it's kind of, I say ironic or whatever you want to say, that farm is not a Rudd farm anymore, but there was a Rudd born there in 1788 on that farm.
In
And
Deerfield.
in Deerfield, and where we lived when I was teaching was, as a crow flies, maybe 3 miles away over the top of Smith Hill to that farm. And my great-grandmother was a teacher at Bell Hill Road School in Deerfield, which is a little one-room schoolhouse. So, family history, it's a great thing.
Did any of these camps have dues?
Oh, yeah. Like we pay, and here's how it works. This is why the lumber companies lease. The dues usually pay for the majority of their taxes. Like our camp, and they charge by the acre. We have approximately 1,600 acres, and our dues are $1,000 a guy. So we have 21 members, so that gives us, our lease is like $15,400. Myself and another guy are in charge of the books, and we were just talking about it today, actually. And so with 21 members, that gives us a slush fund to pay for propane, because we have all propane lights, propane refrigerator. One of the members, I'll tell you this one's, his father passed away, and he would come up and rabbit hunt. That's what he does a lot. And he was big into beagles and all that. Well, the dad passed away, and he wanted to do something for the camp. So he was going to pay our dues for a year. And we said, and we all agreed, let's not do that, because you pay the dues and it's gone, you know, now what? So he paid to have the whole camp totally rewired with a new generator, so remote control generator, LED lights, and you know, the whole nine, which is nice because, you know, nothing against gas lights. We were just, our propane bill this year went down because we've got LED lights now, you know, not that we use them all the time, but, and we put a new gas refrigerator in to replace the one that finally kicked the bucket, you know, but they're a lot more efficient than they used to be, so. But, you know, our dues cover our cost of the lease. We have $1 million liability insurance that we carry. And then also, we were talking about buying a private insurance policy for medevac, if you ever had to get choppered out, because that's not covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And that's like a $70,000 bill, so, yeah. Anybody else?
So,
Yeah.
I'm not at all familiar with any of this. I'm a city girl. But I can't tell from the pictures or really from your descriptions, are these camps still in use as hunting camps, and are they still considered primitive?
Well, you have to be, I say you have to be careful. Like International Paper, when they owned it all, they would go through every year and inspect your camp. And they would make sure like you had no indoor plumbing, because they didn't want septic systems. They didn't want to deal with any of that. That's why. And if you look on our camp anyway, they always used our camp as I say, quote, a role model, because we always keep it up. You know, keep the grass mowed, we keep the buildings up and stuff, and anybody that wanted to build a camp, they would always bring them. International did it. I don't think Lime does that anymore. But the camps are all used, you know, and they actually, I thought, to my mistake, I'll say, that we own the building, but we don't. Lime Lumber owns it. They own all the buildings and all the property. And we're kind of in a unique position over there because the state passed with that piece of property, and I think with all of International's property, it can never be subdivided, put it that way. So whoever buys it, if they ever put it up for sale, which is good and bad, it's all got to go as one parcel. So if somebody was going to buy that piece of land, they would have to buy 40,000 acres. Yeah. So who's got that kind of money? New York State, you know. So if New York State ever buys it, they'll come through like they did at Bear Pond. They gave Bear Pond, I think it was a 10-year grace period to get all their stuff out of there before they burned it, and they just burned Bear Pond back in the plains.
It sounded like most of these places are like membership.
Yes, they are, yeah.
So
And
it's only open to memberships? Is it rented to other?
no, it's only open to memberships. Like I was over there yesterday, helping clear trails and stuff, and it's not that it's funny, but like our camp, like all summer long, there's people in and out, but members. You know, and we have a calendar on Google Calendar, and if you want, as a member, you can sign up for a week. And then we have, like during the hunting season, we call it open hunting. Anybody can come and go at any time. And then during the winter, it's mostly snowmobilers. Guys come in for the weekends and stuff and use it. Rusty Thompson, and that's a whole soap opera between him and the state. New York State does. I think if New York State had their way, Beaver River would not exist as we know it. They would get rid of it because they don't really like them being up there. But anyways, Rusty Thompson, he keeps us plowed out from the railroad tracks all the way to the Stillwater Road, which is probably a little over half a mile, probably. And in lieu, we let him keep his vehicles parked. We have a big sand pit that he keeps his vehicles at. But anyways, you know, so we sign out on weekends and stuff, rabbit hunting or whatever. You know, guys come and go all the time. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I used to belong to the camp, and
He's one of the ones we got rid of.
yeah, voted my ass off. No, but I used to sign it out for when I was doing the scouts, and it was a great place for the scouts, and I probably had just as many moms and dads come on a weekend as I did kids, because nobody's ever been experienced to that. It was just a great experience for the kids. We got them out there. One quick story Greg was talking about, you know, looking at stars and all that. One time we were there, and you can see the stars like you can't believe. There's no light.
You never think there are any stars in the sky.
So one night I told the kids, I said, we're going to go look at the stars. I'm going to give you guys, I want you to show me 3 different star patterns. I want to see the Little Dipper, Big Dipper, the North Star, and the Southern Cross. Okay.
Could be a tough
So anyway, they're out there, and I said, nobody's coming in, we're not getting dinner, or not have dinner, not getting breakfast tomorrow, until you can show me where that is. Well, they're out there, and they got all three of them they got, obviously. Mr. Rudd, I don't know what the Southern Cross is, we just can't find it. What the hell? I mean, where is it? I said, well, you gotta go about, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 miles south of here. I was not popular with the kids that night.
Yeah,
Greg, you said with the Boy Scouts went to Len Harwood's camp?
yeah, we went in.
I can remember that. I remember going there.
I had a picture of Kevin Ponder being in his long john, standing in the doorway in the middle of the winter, you know. But I remember Ernie Wood considered himself quite the cook, I'll say. And he made spaghetti and meatballs for us all, and we threw it out in the woods. And the next day there was dead blue jays all over the place. Yeah. But I told you about the deal with a little canister, film canister.
Right.
When we were in Boy Scouts, Gary Lee was our scout leader, and he took us up on Stillwater Reservoir, and we were there for 2 weeks. And I know we were a little snots, I'll say. And the last thing we had to do, the state had just bought a big chunk of land up above Clear Lake, which is Salmon Lake, Witch Hopple, and Clear. It was called the Red Horse Chain of Lakes, and they bought a big chunk way up. So we each had to carry in a gallon of yellow paint so they could mark their boundaries. Well, on the way out, we were going to fish whatever we caught from between Salmon Lake and I guess it would be Big Burnt Lake, which is really not there. It's all part of Stillwater now. Whatever we caught, we're going to have for dinner. Yeah. Ernie Wood caught a brook trout about that big. Nobody else caught anything, but I remember standing there in the middle of the stream, the outlet, and I turned out, everybody was gone. They were gone, and I couldn't. Scared me right to death. And Gary Lee found me, and he saw me. He said, "Your eyes were just about as big as headlights." It's a story I'm going to tell you, then I'll be done. Anyways, I said after that, I made a vow to myself, if I ever in the woods, and I don't know where I am, I've always had that film canister, and it's, like I said, I'll build a fire, they'll find me from Albany. So we had a drive we were doing over there to Twitchell, and this was Bob Baker. We're doing this drive, and we called it the Behoove You Drive after this. Anyways, if you've ever had the experience of walking in a balsam spruce swamp, sometimes it's like a frickin' wall of trees. You just can't push your way through it. So he's down by Twitchell Creek doing the drive, and we're all done. We're standing, we got our radios, and we're all done. We're waiting for him to come out. And he said, "I can't get out of here." I said, "Bob, look at your compass. You got to go pretty much southwest to get out. So just southwest, you'll be fine. You don't understand. You don't understand. I can't move. It's just a wall of trees. Just walk southwest. You'll be fine. You don't get it. It is so thick." I think one of the guys, it was Jeff, goes, "It would behoove you to listen to me and walk southwest. When I get out of here, I'm going to come up there and behoove you right in the nuts." Thank you.